Test, 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 test. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel and another video. So for this video, I was actually filmed a couple of days ago. I got up for a sunrise. Well, I say it's a sunrise. The light came out for about 15 minutes, maybe that. And then it got cloudy and kind of back to the usual weather that we're getting up here in the north coast. But I did expect that and I was prepared for that. And by prepared, I mean I had another film simulation ready, a black and white one, because I knew I probably wasn't going to get the best lighting and there wasn't going to be a lot of colour around. And I enjoyed the last black and white video that I done and the photos that I took. So I took a little scroll through the Fuji X Weekly website again, looking for some film simulations to try out. And this time I went for the Kodak T-Max 400 one, which is actually quite similar to the Tri-X one I went with, but I did really like the results of that one, and the T-Max one looked even closer again to how I would like my black and white photos to look. So once again, shout out to Fuji X Weekly. Like I said in the previous video, if you like trying out different Fujifilm recipes, definitely check the website out. They have so many of them on there, and the explanations and everything of each film simulation is just really well done. There's a lot of time and effort put in there, so yeah, definitely check it out. I also used the Tide Optics subtle cinesoft filter again, like I did in the previous video, because I like the results I get out of it, especially with black and white. When there's not a lot going on, you can kind of bloom your highlights, and it definitely adds a little bit more interest. Wasn't the perfect day for it, but you'll see the images. I just like the little effect that it has. So the lighting in this video was consistently kind of not great, and another thing that was consistent was me forgetting the names of stuff and just calling things weird names. I don't know, when you're on the spot sort of thinking of a photo, things just weren't coming to me. So yeah, have a laugh at that. And one final thing before I get into the video, I did run a poll on the community tab earlier this week about the little sort of community that I wanted to create, the sharing our own photos, talking just about photography and stuff I mentioned in the first video of 2022. And I wasn't sure whether to do it on Reddit or Discord. Run a little poll, and the majority of you guys think that Discord would be the better spot to create a little community like that and chat and share photos and stuff. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and set up a Discord. I haven't used Discord in a long while, so I might have it set up by the time this video goes up. If I do, the link will be in the description. If not, it will be ready to go very soon, and we can all just join in, talk about photos, share stuff, and all that good stuff. But I'll keep you posted on that one. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get into some early morning POV photography action at the harbour. Okay, so the harbour here is kind of a spot I have walked around a few times. It really doesn't fill me with a lot of hope because I haven't really got many shots. The last few times I've been here, there was just nothing that really stood out to me, but let's see. One thing that does always stand out to me though is these little what do you call these, like little viewer things are always kind of cool. Like I said at the start, shooting on the Fuji XT30 with the cinesoft filter. See if we can get shot one. Actually kind of cool. Black and white really just changes the game a bit for me. On these kind of days anyway. It's kind of cool. Sort of cool. Try and get it a little bit of an angle too, maybe. Yeah, not bad. Let's take a little walk on around here. So again, as is the case a lot of the times here in Portrush, the lighting is not great. We've got sort of a little bit hitting over that direction, so I think I'll sort of walk across the little pier bit or around the harbour and see what there is. Got some absolutely crazy people in swimming. Oh, that looks cold. Okay, so I don't know if you can see the angle of my action cam, but the lifeboat in the water here with the light hitting the wall and all the little buoys in the water is kind of cool. And I shot this one at f5.6. Not much of a glow, I'll maybe overexpose it a little bit more. These lampposts that run along the beach always appeal to me just because of the symmetry of them, but it's a little bit sort of messy the way it is now. Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, really not much lighting going on. I'll try this shot again, this time I'm a bit lower to the water. It looks a little bit cooler looking, I think. Once again, 5.6. I think that's kind of cool. And we've got ourselves a seagull in the water. Always be an interesting shot. He actually contrasts very well with the background. I have to go to continuous focus for this one. Shutter speed up, aperture down. Now he's in the shade. That actually works a little bit better because there's a little bit of contrast in the foreground now. Okay, really not my type of thing, but might work for kind of a decent shot. Normally there is a little boat along here which is always kind of cool, but there's none today, so I think I'll head over to the other side and see what's over there. Okay, this sort of little diving platform is kind of cool for a little symmetrical shot. Something like that. Kind of annoys me this time that the lifeboat's there, but maybe if I zoom in or angle a little bit differently you won't be able to see it. Once again I'm going to go f5.6. This is one of these ones that's kind of tricky to frame nicely. Nice bit of contrast though between the white, the lighter colour of the wood and the dark of the water. Okay, so obviously I'm going to have to probably crop these in probably a 4x5 like I normally do, so I'll zoom out a little bit and then I can crop in a little bit more when I edit. Go back to single focus. Maybe I should keep the boat in it. Maybe I'll try it like this. And I'm gonna focus on the boat actually. Okay, I have took quite a few variations of this. Quite a few of these, but I do want to get it centered because I think this is gonna make for a cool shot. Okay, so that's very, very hard to get straight. Try and move a little bit further back. It just creates such a nice leading line to the boat. You know what, I'm actually going to walk down here to give myself a little bit of a different look at things. Not really a lot down here though besides that boat. Okay, so I've just faced it in the other direction just to sort of see what it looks like, and I'll give you the full effect of the subtle cinesoft filter right here. Not the greatest shot, but I'll sort of show you what it's like. So that's the sort of thing it can do. So I've got one little tiny boat. Normally this whole area here is full of boats. I've got one little tiny one, but with the way all those ropes are lined up, I might be able to sort of use those to frame the boat, possibly. I think I'll try that, so let's see. Okay, I kind of need the boat to sort of float back in a little bit. It is not where I need it to be. I'm just going to try a wide shot of this because the whole scene's kind of cool, I suppose. Trying to sort of frame it with this pole to the left and this bar as sort of the furthest part to the left of my frame, and there's a little bit of space in between it and the next building, which gives it a little bit of room. Yeah, I think that'll work. Not bad. Oh, it is cold. It would be kind of nice to get a few detailed shots, but there isn't much standing out to me. What about a seagull? Nah. Okay, so here's all the little boats, or some of them that are normally sitting in the water. Somebody's got their name on one. I assume that's Barry's boat. So I have not been up at this part before. Kind of cool, but not really a lot to photograph. I was doing was trying to use this little fence to sort of lead around. It starts on the left side and sort of leads in around to this little beacon thing for the boats. But another use for these filters there, because there is a little bit going on in the background, and the more overexposed, the more it blooms the highlights and sort of minimizes everything. I think that might work. So the wind noise got a little bit too intense at this part, but what I was saying was when I looked back, I liked the look of the scene sort of from this angle. All the houses just lined up kind of nicely, and there was almost like three sort of layers to the shot. The sky looked very white and the water was reflecting the light, so it looked kind of white too, but then the middle part where all the houses in the boat were very dark, so it created a nice contrast, and that's sort of what I was trying to capture with this shot. I think I probably would have preferred it if the boat had been a little bit further forward, so there was a bit of a gap I could separate it from the houses, but I took the shot anyway and I think it turned out kind of cool. Okay, this little rope here is kind of more what I was talking about with the detailed shot, but it's not the greatest looking detailed shot. Could have been a little bit better. Maybe I can contrast it with the water though. That's a tricky one. Kind of cool though. There's something about harbours that don't really always have nice details hanging around. But this is definitely close to the sort of thing I'm looking for. Got the real rusty steps into the water. Got the rope tied around the real rusty hook. This might work nicely. If I can frame it. Having to go very wide to get both of these things in the shot, and then if I tilt up I have the boat and all the houses, which is not what I want. I go f5.6 with this one. Man, this is hard to get in. This might be the very rare occasion where I find myself wanting a lens wider than the 18 that I already have. There's definitely better framing of this thing, I think. Just can't find it. That'll have to do. So the battery in my action cam ran out just before I actually got to sort of line up and take this shot, but what I was going for was, so the yellow lines that are all painted across the ground here, and when I was looking through the viewfinder, obviously in black and white, there was a real contrast because obviously those lines looked pure white, and I thought that was kind of cool. And then we have the again, no idea what you call this thing, but the pillar thing that they use to tie the boats up. I kind of wanted to frame those in a way sort of just to get something kind of satisfying. The background was kind of overexposing, so it looked kind of hazy looking and quite minimal, but yeah, tried to sort of move around and frame things and get them into position and snap a shot of that, which I think turned out kind of cool. And that was pretty much it for that one. The battery ran out of my action cam just before I got that last shot, like I said. Not the greatest session of photography, but to be honest, I didn't really expect to get a whole bunch of shots that I just thought were epic. Like I said at the start, I've been to that spot a few times before. I knew there were some photos there, I just found it hard, and I think just getting out with the black and white film recipe got me some photos that I probably wouldn't have got if I hadn't have tried it. So yeah, it's just one of those sessions from time to time. I think everybody has them, or to be fair, it's probably the type of sessions you have more often than not. Those ones where you might come away with a couple of photos you sort of like, but the rest are, it's all trial and error, it's a learning process. I still had fun doing it. I do really like how those photos look. It's definitely pretty close to how I wanted my black and white photos to turn out. The T-Max 400 worked pretty well. I made very slight adjustments. I actually used the Fuji X Raw Studio when I was finished with the photos, just to bring them in, and you can kind of adjust your simulation in there, and it also adjusts the photos, and then you can just convert them into JPEGs or save them wherever you want to do. So I made very slight adjustments to the film simulation in there just to get a little bit more contrast with it. But yeah, I really like how those turned out, and Fuji X Raw Studio is pretty cool to use actually. I like the idea. I'll maybe jump into that a bit more in another video, because yeah, what they have going on there is definitely cool to play around with. My favourite photo of the session is the one of the, I still don't even know the name of these, the little viewfinder telescope thing. Like I said at the start of the video, again, I've been meaning to take a photo of that for a while, and every time I'm kind of down that area, I walk past it. I just don't think in winter the light gets up high enough to actually hit that area in particular. And yeah, the black and white I think actually works pretty well because it's very old. It's kind of rustic looking, with the water and the sky in the background sort of almost blowing out the highlights. It contrasts it really well with it being dark and having no light on it. And then the little white sort of label on it with the text adds a bit of contrast as well. So yeah, I really like how that one turned out. I also really like the one I have on the monitor behind me, the wide shot. They're always just a little bit harder to get, or at least for me anyway, because there's more things in the frame. You have to try and, it takes a little bit longer, as you've seen in the video, to get things lined up and get things where you want them and just make the whole thing flow and look nice. And I mean, it's close. I could probably retake that one again, maybe a few more boats in the foreground, but yeah, I quite like how that one turned out. I know more than likely there is quite a few of you guys that have probably never really thought about shooting black and white before, or didn't really have the interest in it. I get it. I was definitely in your position until I actually started shooting it, and now it is definitely one of those things where I really enjoy it. It changes things up quite a bit in terms of what you're shooting and just how you can shoot things and make them look sort of, it's hard to explain, but I would definitely recommend giving it a go. Anyway, I'm going to cut the blabbering for this one. There's been too much blabbering recently. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to give the video a thumbs up. It is really appreciated. And maybe consider subscribing if you want to see more. Like I said, the Discord will be set up soon, if not already. So stay tuned for that. I look forward to chatting to some of you in there, sharing photos, talking about cameras, all that good stuff. So yeah. But anyway, that is it for this one. So as we always say, take it easy. Don't be a stranger.